Hey kids, welcome to CrossWay's KidVenture Kids Online. I'm Lauren and this is Maya.
Hi everybody! In case you're new at KidVenture Kids Online, I should let you know that KidVenture Kids is a great place for kids to learn about God, faith, and even life apps.
What are life apps?
Life apps are just our way of talking about what God can work out inside of you to change the world around you. Things like love, respect, and forgiveness.
And don't forget that we do that with a lot of faith-fueled fun to help you grow your faith in Jesus Christ.
And don't forget putting your faith into action KidStyle. Hey, you can even stand up, sing, and dance with the worship music. And now it's time to get started.
Let's start with a drum roll on your knees, everybody. 3, 2, 1.
Get ready, get set, ready, set, move! You've been with me from the start. You're the one who knows my heart. You are there for me, Jesus. You are showing me the way, love and kindness every day. You are helping me, Jesus. So I'll follow you, here and there and everywhere. I know it's true, you're always by my side. I'm ready for the time of my life. I'm set on doing what you do. I'm gonna share your love with the world. Ready, set, move! Get ready, get set, ready, set, move!
You've been with me from the start. You're the one who knows my heart. You are there for me, Jesus. You are showing me the way, love and kindness every day. You are helping me, Jesus.
So I'll follow you, here and there and everywhere. I know it's true, you're always by my side. I'm ready for the time of my life. I'm set on doing what you do. I'm gonna share your love with the world. Ready, set, move! Get set, ready, set, move! Get ready, get set, ready, set, here we go!
I'll do what Jesus told me, believe what Jesus showed me, love 'cause Jesus loved me. We trust that He is with us, no, He will never leave us. Let's shout what He did for us.
Bring it down!
I'm ready for the time of my life. I'm set on doing what you do. I'm gonna share your love with the world.
Ready, set, move! I'm ready for the time of my life. I'm set on doing what you do. I'm gonna share your love with the world.
Ready, set, move.
Jesus told me,
I'll do
Jesus
whatever you want me to do.
Ready, set, move!
Trust in you.
Trust in you.
Get set.
Ready, set, move! run down and set me free. Everything of this world will fade. I'm pressing on till I see your face. I will live that your will be done. I won't stop till your kingdom come. 'Cause you are my freedom. We lift you higher, lift you higher. Your love never ending. Oh, oh, oh. You are alive in us. Nothing can take your place. You are all we need. Your love has set us free. Oh, oh, oh. You are my freedom. We lift you higher. You are my freedom. We lift you higher, lift you higher. Your love never ending. Oh, oh, oh. You are alive in us. Nothing can take your place. You are all we need. Your love has set us free. You are alive in us. Nothing can take your place. You are all we need. Your love has set us free. Oh, 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 oh.
Hey, hello there, I'm MC Haggis, the world's greatest Scottish rapper, and this here is my beatboxing partner, Seamus McFamous. Give him a sample, Seamus. Woo! I'd sprain my mouth if I tried to do that. Boo. This month we're continuing with faith, trusting in what you can't see because of what you can see. And I think that a good example of how our faith grows is by planting seeds, eh? You see, seeds, while mostly tiny, can grow just like one's faith. Let me show you, Seamus. I'm going to take some of this ultra-rare, fast-growing blue chia seed, so rare in fact that it doesn't actually exist, and I'm going to spread it on this tiny clay sheep-shaped pot. And hopefully, we'll get to watch these seeds grow in real time. Huh? Yeah, in real time. Yeah, I turned the temperature way up into this room to turn it into a green room. That should help them grow. There. Done. And whoo! It is hot in here. I am sweating. Oh! Now, let's watch as these seeds grow before our very eyes. I just need to have a little patience. It'll start sprouting before you know it. Yeah, I thought something would be happening by now, too. Hey! Whoa! What are you screaming for? What is it? I don't understand. What's all the fuss about? Oh, no! It looks like it worked, but why is it growing on my face? Oh, I rubbed the seeds on my face and they sprouted like the box said they would. I look like the Cookie Monster. Yeah, you're right, Seamus. I wasn't expecting them to grow in my face, though. Oh, but that's also what happens when the seeds of faith are planted in us. They grow. Let's rap about it. Kick it. Yeah. From a tiny seed that goes unseen and is pushed down deep in the ground, springs forth a plant, a fruit, a tree, and that is quite profound. And just like plants, our faith in God can grow like a magic tree. Because faith ain't about what you see, it's believing in what you can't see because of what you can see. And again, that's faith, because I felt like repeating the word. Yeah, well, if you'll excuse me, I need to go prune my eyebrows.
Hey!
Yes. Nope, no, don't you come near with me with those. No! I got to go.
Hey! What's the big idea? Hey! What's the big idea?
God can help you find joy.
Hey, welcome to Story Lab. This week, we're talking about faith, while we take a look at the story of two men who found a very peculiar place to have a sing-along on their travels. I think I need to get my passport renewed.
Hey, I'm Skylar.
And I'm Sebastian.
We're talking about faith, which is trusting in what you can't see because of what you can see. What's happening?
Wait for it. Grab your hula hoop.
Okay.
Ready, set, move. Come on, hula hoop challenge.
Oh, you're on.
Okay, I just got an unlucky start. 360, 360.
Okay, I see what you did there. I haven't done that in like 3 years.
But you're smiling.
Because I feel totally ridiculous.
Well, I've been researching things that make people happy. And you want to know what's on the top of the list?
Hula hoops.
Exercise.
Okay, I believe it. I always feel better after a morning run.
Or a morning hula.
Exercise helps the body produce hormones like dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins that make us feel good and reduce depression and pain.
Even just exercising your smile can make you feel better.
Smiling can trick your brain by elevating your mood, lowering your heart rate, and reducing your stress.
I feel great, but now my face hurts.
I feel like the Cheshire Cat.
What else helps us feel happy?
Sunlight.
One more reason to hit the beach.
Facts. Number 3, chocolate.
Dark chocolate can improve blood flow to the brain and boost the production of endorphins.
Chocolate is basically a health food.
In moderation.
So don't replace your carrot sticks with chocolate chips. Okay, exercise, sunlight, chocolate. What else makes us happy?
Well, number 4, playing with pets.
I'm taking you home as my own personal therapy pet. I'm so relaxed. Can we just play this day on repeat?
We're not even done with number 5. Hugs. Aww. There you have it. 5 scientifically proven ways to be happy.
Except we can't be happy all the time. Sometimes life gets really hard and joy seems far away.
Sometimes you need more than chocolate and hugs.
Exactly. It's time for
The story before the story.
Today, we're in the book of Acts, which tells the story of the early church.
But before Acts, way back in the very beginning, out of a deep, deep love, God made an amazing world.
But when people turned away from God, the world was broken. God made a plan to draw people back into relationship. So, at the right time, God sent Jesus, God's very own son, to live among us.
Jesus gave up his life and was killed. But on the third day, he rose to life.
After Jesus returned to heaven, the early church grew quickly.
The Apostle Paul traveled thousands of miles to tell about Jesus and started many new churches, including one in the city of Philippi.
Which is where our story starts.
Take it away.
Hey everyone, I'm Erica.
Hey, Erica.
Paul had begun a second-long journey to share the good news about Jesus. While he was on the town of Troas, God gave him a vision. In the vision, Paul saw a man pleading with him.
Come over to Macedonia and help us.
Paul and his friends, Silas and Luke, immediately set sail and within a few days reached Philippi, which was a Roman colony. Now, there was no official meeting place in Philippi, but on the Sabbath day, Paul and his friends found a woman named Lydia and several others praying by the river. They became believers in Jesus, and Lydia, a successful businesswoman, opened her home to Paul and the brand new church. Pretty soon, the new church was flourishing. God had called Paul to come to Philippi, and it seemed everything was going perfectly. But as Paul and his friends walked to the place where they prayed each day, a girl began to follow them, shouting loudly,
These men are servants of the Most High God who are telling you the way to be saved. These men are servants of the Most High God. These men...
Sounds great, right? I mean, she was telling the truth, but sadly, the girl was controlled by a spirit who was not from God, and several men were using her to make money for them. For days, the girl followed them, shouting. Paul got so annoyed that he turned around and commanded,
In the name of Jesus Christ, I command you to come out of her.
And you know what? The spirit left her right away. But instead of celebrating that this girl had been healed, the men who had been using her were furious. She could no longer earn money for them. The men were so filled with rage that they grabbed Paul and Silas and dragged them to the marketplace to stand before authorities.
These men are Jews and they're throwing our city into an uproar.
They're trying to push customs that aren't lawful for us Romans.
It was all lies, but the officials didn't care. They ordered that Paul and Silas should be beaten and thrown in jail. It was a harsh punishment, and Paul and Silas must have felt pretty terrible by the time they arrived at that prison. The jailer was given orders to guard them carefully, so he put them in a secure inner cell and fastened chains on their feet. We can only imagine what Paul and Silas were thinking. It seemed so clear that God had called them to Philippi, yet here they were, lied about, beaten, and locked up. It would have been easy to start grumbling or doubt that God even cared. But Paul had seen God at work in hard times before. He trusted that God was with them. So right there, in that cramped, dark jail cell, Paul and Silas began to pray and sing.
My soul finds rest in God alone, my rock and my salvation, a fortress strong against my foes, and I will not be shaken.
Suddenly, around midnight, the earth began to tremble. A violent earthquake shook the whole prison. Doors flew open, chains broke off. The jailer awoke and ran to check the damage. When he saw the door swinging wide open, he was terrified. The prisoners were his responsibility, and if they escaped, he would be killed. In fact, he drew his sword to take his own life. But Paul shouted out,
Don't harm yourself. We are all here.
Weak with relief, the jailer fell down before them. He brought them out of the jail and asked,
What must I do to be saved?
Believe in the Lord Jesus, and you will be saved.
Paul and Silas were able to share the good news about Jesus with the jailer and his entire household. The jailer cared for their wounds, and then he and everyone who lived with him were baptized. Filled with joy, the jailer brought Paul and Silas into his home and gave them a good meal. In the morning, the authorities sent word to release Paul and Silas, but Paul wasn't about to let them gloss this over. The authorities panicked when they realized they had unfairly hurt and imprisoned Roman citizens, so they publicly released Paul and Silas and asked them to leave the city. Paul and Silas took their time, first visiting the other believers at Lydia's house to encourage them. Then they left. The end.
Gotta be honest, I would have thrown a pity party instead of singing.
Yeah, Paul and Silas were in a really dark place.
I mean, for sure, but instead of focusing on everything that was wrong, they kept their eyes fixed on God.
Even in a dark, damp prison cell.
And they still found joy. So, what's our part in the story?
Great question. There are going to be times in your life when things seem dark. In fact, Jesus told his friends, "In this world, you will have trouble, but be encouraged. I have won the battle over the world."
So, if money is tight and your family can't take any trips, God can give you joy.
Or if you practice really hard and still don't make the soccer team, God can still give you joy.
Exactly. We're in the middle of a struggle, but the ending has already been decided. God will make everything right. When we remember that and keep our focus on Jesus, then God can give us joy no matter what we're going through.
When you pray for help, God won't always make your difficult circumstances go away.
But God can always give you joy.
I think you've got it. See you next time.
Bye, Erica. So here's the thing. God can help you find joy.
Even when life feels really hard.
You can always ask God for joy.
While you're on a walk. In the sunlight.
Eating chocolate.
Oh.
Thanks for joining us in the Story Lab.
See you next time. Hula! Oh, wait, let me try 2.
Then we can add 3.
Three.
Okay. You got it. Yes! Yes!
I beat my record.
Ephesians 2:8. God's grace has saved you because of your faith in Christ. Your salvation doesn't come from anything you do. It is God's gift.
Oh, yeah, I remember this.
Hey, John, what you doing?
Oh, hey, I'm just looking through some old vacation photos.
All right.
Yeah, look at it. Check this one out. This is me when I went to France.
It's cool.
Yeah. Oh! And here's me when I was near the Eiffel Tower. Yeah. I mean, the Eiffel Tower was right in front of me when I took this picture. Isn't that cool?
Definitely. Yeah, so cool.
Check this out.
A tree?
Yeah, I took this picture when I was right down the street from Buckingham Palace.
Oh, you went to Buckingham Palace?
Yeah, this was proof.
Uh-huh.
And this is my favorite place I've ever visited. I bet you can't guess where this is.
I don't know, John. Is it the Mediterranean Sea just off the Amalfi Coast on a Tuesday in September at 1:30 in the afternoon?
This is 1:30. This is 2:30. What?
everybody, I'm Brandon.
I'm John.
And this is the So-and-So Show.
Today we have something special in store. I mean, really special.
Did you write a song about your day again?
Maybe, maybe not. I'm not going to tell you. You don't know.
You're right, I don't know because you haven't told me yet.
Oh, and I'm not going to tell you because I don't want to lose my edge. Unpredictability is the key in today's game.
Okay, and the game is...
Woo! Woo! Hey!
What in the world?
I got one. 1 point for me.
Oh, are we playing Made You Laugh?
You bet we are.
Woo!
Hello. The goal of Made You Laugh is to make the other person laugh. That's it. I make Brandon laugh, I get a point. He makes me laugh, he gets a point. The person with the most points is the funniest host. Ready?
Oh yeah! Go! Hey John, what did the seaweed say when it got stuck to the bottom of the ocean?
I don't know, Brandon. What did the seaweed say when it got stuck to the bottom of the ocean?
Kelp! Kelp!
Hey, Brandon!
Yes, John?
What's a squirrel's favorite ballet?
I give up.
The Nutcracker! What do rich squirrels eat? Cashews! Okay, a squirrel sees an elephant in an oak tree. Squirrel says, "Why are you here?" Elephant says, "I like coming here to eat oranges." The squirrel says, "Silly elephant, this is an oak tree." The elephant says, "I know, I brought the oranges from home."
Doesn't make any sense.
No, point for me!
So-and-so show, so-and-so show. So-and-so show, so-and-so show, so-and-so show. So-and-so show, so-and-so show, so-and-so show. So-and-so show, so-and-so show. So-and-so show, show. Go away from me, I'm allergic to whatever you are. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa! All right, let's do this. My name is Horvath.
And my name is Horvath.
And it's time for Bible sizing with Horvath.
Yes.
Go. 1.
14.
Pole position.
Garden rake.
Pumpkin spice.
Newt.
Chester copper pot.
419. Roll, 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 you roll gently down the street.
Gently down the Point. It's final story time with Kellen.
Hey, everybody.
Hi, Kellen.
Whoa, you guys are having so much fun.
Yeah. How's it going, Kellen?
I think you asked how it's going, and it's going great, and about to be even greater. This story is off the chain. You'll get that joke later, because there's chains in the story. Anyways, let's jump in. Today's story is from the book of Acts, chapter 16. We're going to take a look at a few days in the life of Paul and Silas, who were leaders in the early church. They spent their lives telling people about Jesus and helping those who were already believers to grow their faith. Now, on this particular day, did you just hear what I...
Glad you came, glad you're here. I know it's getting late, but never fear. We'll give a blow-by-blow of the Bible story on the Melv Solomon Story Recap. Kellen!
Hi, Melv.
My buddy, my pal, my favorite teaching collaborator, or should I say, collaborator?
Nope, you shouldn't.
Who are we talking about today, Kellen?
Paul and Silas.
Oh, I like them already. They sound like a duo, like me, Melv Solomon, and my brother-in-law over there, Greg.
Hi, I'm Greg.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Take it away, Kellen. We'll chime in when the story calls for a tune.
I expect no less. So, one day, Paul and Silas were walking to a place to pray, and a girl started following them around, shouting, "These men serve the Most High God." And she wasn't saying it in a nice way either. She was being controlled by an ungodly spirit, and because of it, there were people using her to make money. This girl followed Paul and Silas around for several days. Finally, Paul commanded the spirit to leave her in the name of Jesus, and it left. But the people who were using the girl to make money, well, they were not happy about that. And they took their frustrations out on Paul and Silas.
Oh man, sounds like Paul and Silas were about to have a bad day. Yeah, I've had some rough days too, right, Greg? Greg? Greg!
My water bed is leaking!
Hey, play the song, Greg.
Okay.
One day I went for a walk, little did I know that I talked to my neighbor for an hour about her toe. Later I ate a pepper, but I didn't realize it was a habanero. My life flashed before my eyes. So I drank a bunch of milk to make my mouth feel better. Yeah. Back to you, Kellen.
Yep, that sounds rough. Maybe not as wild a day as Paul and Silas were about to have. The men who were upset at them for healing the girl dragged Paul and Silas into a crowded marketplace. They accused them of making trouble in the city and breaking the law. So Paul and Silas were beaten and thrown into prison. The jailer was told to guard Paul and Silas very carefully, so he put them deep inside the prison and fastened their feet with chains so they couldn't get away.
Oh, no, no, no. How horrible can this day get? They must have been miserable. Hey, Greg, play that miserable tune. Greg. Greg!
Call the plumber. Huh? What? Oh.
Miserable tune, Greg. Play your worst. Oh, that is just terrible. It's perfect. Misery, such incredible misery. Sometimes that's all you get. Wet sneakers, old onions, rude neighbors, big bunions. Sometimes life is the worst. Think that about sums up the story, right, Kellen?
Actually, no. Instead of wallowing in a misery, around midnight, Paul and Silas started praying and singing hymns to God.
Even after all the beating and the arresting and the chaining of the feet? Wow.
I know. Somehow they were able to choose joy. Other prisoners were listening to Paul and Silas sing when suddenly there was a powerful earthquake shaking the prison. The prison doors flew open and everyone's chains came loose. The jailer who was watching them woke up and...
Greg, stop snoring and wake up!
Oh.
Not now, Greg.
Oh. Okay.
You were saying, Kellen?
Well, the jailer woke up during the earthquake and he was extremely upset when he saw the prison doors open. He thought the prisoners had escaped. But then Paul shouted at him, "We are all here!" The jailer went to Paul and Silas, fell down in front of them, and he asked them, "What must I do to be saved?"
Oh, I bet I know where this story is going. I gotta sing about it. Greg!
Doggy pillow!
I got a new song, Greg. I'm making this one up on the fly.
Okay.
Sounds good. I bet you can see how the story will end. Paul and Silas finally get their revenge. Make the jailer feel miserable for how he treated them. And everyone escapes, so the jailer gets fired.
No, Melv, that's not what happened at all.
Oh, you sure?
Positive. The jailer asked, "What must I do to be saved?" And Paul and Silas told him, "Believe in the Lord Jesus, then you and everyone living in your house will be saved." So Paul and Silas, they were able to share God's word with the jailer. So the jailer washed their wounds and took them to his home. He and everyone who lived with him were baptized. And on top of that, the jailer gave Paul and Silas a meal. Everyone that was in the house was filled with joy and became believers in God.
Oh, wow. I was not expecting that. Greg, did you know that was going to happen?
The next morning, the judges sent officers to the prison to let Paul and Silas go free. The judges also apologized to them and led them out of the prison. The end.
Boy, I wish I handled things like Paul and Silas did. When I have a bad day, I want everyone to have a bad day with me. But they had faith and found joy, right, Greg?
Yep. Sometimes you just have to patch up your waterbed and fill it back up.
Well said, Greg. Wise words.
Thank you.
Hey, play us a song to close us down.
I know the one.
Sometimes life isn't all rainbows. Storm clouds will surely come your way. But that doesn't mean you're always miserable. Storm clouds don't have to ruin your day. Just remember God is with you, and boy, oh boy, you can face anything with joy. Always a pleasure, Kellen. Back to you.
Nicely done. Thank you so much, Melv and Greg.
Wow. Hey, Paul and Silas really did have quite the day.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have been able to have as much faith and joy in the situation as they did.
It's true. Paul and Silas put their faith in God even in the worst circumstance. They didn't know when they would be let go or if they ever would. But they prayed to God and worshiped him because they knew God would take care of them. And their faith was on display for everyone in the prison, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I love how the whole jailer's family came to believe in God.
Yep, and God filled them with joy.
Yeah. I think we all need a little help finding joy sometimes.
Totally. I'll see you guys next time.
Bye, Kellen. You know, I think we did a good job having joy on today's show. You brought me a lot of joy. You're a very funny guy.
Thank you, John. I think you're very funny looking also.
Well, thank you. Hey, what?
Reveal the question. What brings you joy? Great question. You know, reading books always brings me joy.
Yeah, or maybe playing a really fun game can bring you joy.
Yeah, or hanging out with your family or your friends.
Or watching a beautiful sunset.
Yeah, there are lots of ways to find joy. But if it's not coming easy for you, ask God to help you find joy. Or ask someone God has put in your life to help.
Yeah, talk about it together. What brings you joy?
And we will see you next time. I'm Brandon.
And I'm John, and this was the So-and-So Show!
Yay!
Wiggle! You got it? Wiggly! Wiggly! Words! Wiggle! Wiggly words, wiggle!
Hey! What's the big idea? What's the big idea?
God can help you find joy.